Right now, millions of people are walking over entire cities they don't even know exist. We're not talking about ancient ruins or secret bunkers. We're talking about real streets, real buildings, and real tunnels hidden just beneath some of America's biggest cities. Places where people used to live, work, and shop. Places where trains still sit on abandoned tracks. Places where roads stretch for miles in complete darkness. Some of these underground cities were accidents. Others were carefully planned. But all of them share one thing. They're frozen in time, waiting in the dark while the world above keeps moving. Today, we're going down, way down, to explore 10 real underground cities hidden beneath major American cities. Some you can visit, some are sealed forever, and one of them is still being used every single day by thousands of workers who clock in below street level. Let's start with the most famous one, Seattle Underground, Seattle, Washington. Imagine walking through a city that's been buried alive. That's exactly what happened in Seattle in 1889. A massive fire destroyed most of downtown. The city had a choice: rebuild on the same soggy ground that kept flooding, or start over higher up. They chose higher. Seattle built an entirely new street level, one full story above the old one. They buried the original downtown under tons of dirt and concrete. The old storefronts, the old sidewalks, the old saloons, all of it was left behind, one floor below the new city. For years, people still used the underground. They climbed down ladders to reach the old streets. Glass blocks were built into the new sidewalks above so light could shine down. But by 1908, the city sealed it all off. They said it was too dangerous. Disease, rats, decay. For 60 years, Seattle's underground sat in darkness. Drug dealers used it. Homeless people slept there. It became a ghost town beneath a ghost town. Then in the 1960s, a local historian named Bill Speidel decided to bring it back. He cleaned it up, made it safe, and opened it for tours. Today you can walk through Seattle's underground. You'll see old brick buildings, wooden storefronts, and those glass blocks in the ceiling, the only light from the world above. It's like stepping into 1889 and never leaving. But Seattle isn't the only city hiding its past underground. Underground Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, they didn't bury the city because of fire. They buried it because of traffic. By the 1920s, downtown Atlanta was a mess. Too many cars, too many trains, everything jammed together in the center of the city. So engineers came up with a plan. Build elevated roads over the railroad tracks. Lift the entire street grid one story up. It worked. Traffic flowed, but it left something behind. All those ground level stores, they were suddenly in the basement. All those old cobblestone streets, buried under concrete viaducts. By 1929, Atlanta's original downtown was trapped below the new city. For decades, it sat empty. Then in 1969, someone had an idea: turn it into a nightlife district. They called it Underground Atlanta. It exploded. Millions of visitors came to drink, shop, and party in a real 19th century streetscape. You could walk past Victorian storefronts lit by gas lamps, all sheltered under the elevated roads above. It felt like time travel. But Underground Atlanta struggled. It closed in 1980, reopened in 1989, and has been fighting for survival ever since. Today, parts of it still exist. Old brick archways, cast iron street lamps, faded advertisements painted on walls. You can still visit and see what Atlanta looked like before it rose into the sky. But here's the question: if Seattle and Atlanta buried their past by accident, what about cities that built underground on purpose? New York City, the abandoned subway. New York has something most cities don't: abandoned subway stations that are almost too beautiful to forget. The crown jewel is City Hall Station. When it opened in 1904, it was supposed to be the most elegant subway stop in the world. Curved tile arches, stained glass skylights, brass chandeliers. It looked more like a palace than a train station. But there was a problem. The platform was built on a curve, too tight for longer modern trains. By 1945, it was shut down. Today, City Hall Station is frozen in 1945. The tiles are still there. The skylights still let in light. If you ride the 6 train to the end of the line and stay on, you'll loop through the abandoned station. For a few seconds, you'll see it, ghostly and empty. But that's not New York's only underground secret. Beneath Brooklyn, there's a tunnel even older. The Atlantic Avenue Tunnel was built in 1844, the first subway tunnel ever built anywhere in the world. It carried steam trains for 17 years. Then in 1861, they sealed it and forgot about it. For 120 years, it didn't exist. Then in 1980, a young guy crawled through a manhole and found it. The tunnel was still there, perfectly preserved, dark, silent. New York is full of these spaces: abandoned platforms, sealed tunnels, secret stations, a hidden city beneath the city everyone knows. But if New York's tunnels were for people, Chicago's were built for something totally different. Chicago freight tunnels, Chicago, Illinois. Most people think of tunnels for trains or cars, but Chicago built 60 miles of tunnels just for freight. Starting in 1900, the city dug a massive network of narrow tunnels 40 feet below downtown. They were only 7.5 feet high, just big enough for tiny electric trains to haul haul coal, mail, and garbage between buildings. No trucks clogging the streets. Everything moved underground. By 1909, the system was complete. Coal went down to basement boilers. Ashes came back up. Department stores got deliveries without a single truck blocking traffic. But by the 1930s, trucks were cheaper. The tunnels started to shut down. By 1959, they were totally abandoned. For 30 years, Chicago forgot they existed. Then in April 1992, disaster struck. A construction crew accidentally drove a pile through the tunnel wall under the Chicago River. Water started pouring in. 250 million gallons flooded through the tunnels, filling basements all over downtown. The Great Chicago Flood shut down the city for days. Today, most of those tunnels are still there, sealed, dark, forgotten. Only a few carry telecom cables, the rest just sit under the loop, silent reminders of a city that once moved entirely underground. But Chicago's tunnels are nothing compared to what's hiding under Houston. Houston Downtown Tunnel System, Houston, Texas. Forget abandoned. Forget sealed off. Houston's underground city is alive. Right now, 20 feet below Houston streets, there's a 6-mile network of air-conditioned tunnels connecting 95 city blocks. There are restaurants, coffee shops, banks, hair salons. You can walk from building to building, eat lunch, shop, and never step outside. The first tunnel opened in the 1930s, just a short passage between two movie theaters. But as Houston grew, so did the tunnels. By the 1970s, every new skyscraper connected to the system. Today, tens of thousands of office workers use it every single day. Why? Because Houston is brutal. Summers hit 100 degrees. It rains constantly. The tunnels let you escape all of it. But here's the weird part. The tunnels only open on weekdays during business hours. On nights and weekends, they're empty, silent, locked. It's like an entire underground city that only exists from 9 to 5. Most tourists don't even know it's there. But if you work in downtown Houston, you live half your life 20 feet below the surface. And if you think Houston's tunnel system is big, wait until you see what's under Kansas City. Subtropolis, Kansas City, Missouri. This isn't a tunnel, it's not a basement, it's a limestone cave the size of a small city. Subtropolis covers 55 million square feet. That's 1,260 acres. It has roads, street signs, truck docks, forklifts, and it's all 160 feet underground, carved out of rock that's 270 million years old. It started as a limestone mine, but in the 1960s, someone realized it could be more. The temperature stays at 65 degrees year-round. No heating, no cooling, perfect for storage. Today, Subtropolis is the largest underground business complex in the world. The U.S. Postal Service stores stamps here. The National Archives keeps federal records in climate-controlled vaults. Companies warehouse everything from food to hard drives. People work here full-time. They drive trucks through 10 miles of underground roads past giant limestone pillars holding up the ceiling. It's like an industrial city carved into the earth. You can't just visit, it's private property with security checkpoints, but occasionally they host underground 5K races so people can see it. Think about that. Thousands of people go to work every day in a cave beneath Kansas City, and most of the city has no idea. But not every underground city was built for business. Some were built for transit, and then abandoned forever. Cincinnati's abandoned subway, Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati has the largest abandoned subway system in America, and not a single train ever ran through it. In the 1920s, the city started building a 16-mile subway loop. They dug 2.2 miles of tunnels. They built underground stations. They laid tracks. They installed lights and tiled pillars. Then the money ran out. By 1928, construction stopped. The tunnels were left empty, the stations were abandoned, and Cincinnati just moved on. For almost 100 years, those tunnels have been sitting under Central Parkway, completely untouched. Engineers say the concrete is still in perfect condition. The stations look like they're waiting for passengers who will never come. The city has talked about using it for decades. Light rail, busways, wine storage, data centers. Nothing ever happens. Every few years they offer tours. Tickets sell out in minutes. People descend into the dark and walk through a subway frozen in 1928. It's eerie, quiet, a monument to a dream that died before it was born. But Cincinnati's subway was abandoned by choice. Detroit's underground wasn't abandoned. It's been working non-stop for over 100 years. Detroit Underground Salt Mine, Detroit, Michigan. 1,100 feet below Detroit, there's a city made of salt. The Detroit Salt Mine covers 1,500 acres with more than 100 miles of roads carved into ancient salt deposits. It's been operating since 1910, pulling rock salt from the earth to melt ice on winter roads. The tunnels are huge, trucks drive through them, workers blast and drill in chambers the size of cathedrals, and everywhere you look the walls glitter white with salt. The mine is 60 degrees year-round, dry, still. During the Cold War, they even considered using it as a fallout shelter. In the 1980s, the mine briefly offered public tours. You take an elevator down 100 stories into the earth and walk through halls carved from 400-million-year-old salt. But the tour stopped when mining resumed in 1998. Today, it's off-limits. Only miners go down. But every winter, when you see salt trucks spreading white crystals on icy roads, there's a good chance that salt came from deep below Detroit. So we've seen cities buried by accident, cities built on purpose, and cities still working underground. But what about cities built for crime? Los Angeles underground tunnels. Los Angeles, California. During Prohibition in the 1920s, alcohol was illegal, but people still wanted to drink. So in Los Angeles, they went underground. Beneath downtown LA, there's a network of old utility tunnels and basement passages. And during Prohibition, bootleggers used them to smuggle whiskey between speakeasies and hotels. The most famous spot was the King Eddie Saloon on Main Street. Legends say tunnels ran from the basement bar to government buildings and fancy hotels. Barrels of illegal liquor moved through the dark while cops walked above, clueless. Not all the stories are true, some are exaggerated, but it's confirmed that certain buildings had connected basements and smugglers absolutely used them. Los Angeles also built a real subway in 1925, the Pacific Electric Subway under Bunker Hill. It was supposed to help streetcars avoid traffic, but it was abandoned and sealed. Today, it's covered in graffiti and occasionally used for movie filming. Most of LA's historic tunnels are closed now, bricked up, forgotten, but they're still there, hidden beneath a city that's always had secrets. And speaking of secrets, there's one more underground space you need to know about. Right. DuPont Underground Streetcar Tunnels, Washington, D.C. Under DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C., there's an abandoned streetcar station that's been reborn as an art gallery. The tunnels were built in 1949 to move streetcars under the busy traffic circle. It was the only underground streetcar station in D.C., but by 1962, the city shut down the streetcar system and replaced it with buses. The tunnels were sealed. For a while, they were used as a Cold War fallout shelter, stocked with supplies in case of nuclear war. But that plan was abandoned in 1975. For decades, the space sat empty. In the 1990s, someone tried to turn it into an underground food court. It failed. Kitchen tiles and empty storefronts were left behind like a ghost mall. Then in 2016, local artists reopened part of the tunnels as DuPont Underground, a 15,000 square foot cultural space. Now it hosts art installations, performances, and exhibits in a setting that's equal parts history and haunted house. You can walk through it today. Old streetcar tracks are still embedded in the floor. Graffiti covers the walls. Tiled columns line the platforms. It's gritty, strange, and beautiful. A forgotten transit space transformed into something new. So what does all of this mean? 10 real underground cities. Some were buried by disaster, some built on purpose, some were abandoned, some are still alive. But here's the part that most people don't think about. There are probably more. Every major city has basements, tunnels, and forgotten spaces. Some are mapped, some aren't. Some are sealed so well that even city officials don't remember they exist. Right now, you could be standing over a tunnel, a station, or an entire street that hasn't seen sunlight in 100 years. And the craziest part? Most of these underground cities aren't hidden because they're dangerous or secret. They're hidden because we just forgot. We moved on, built higher, paved over the past. But the past doesn't disappear, it just goes underground and waits. So next time you're walking through a major city, look down, because there's a good chance you're walking over history you'll never see. So if you wanted to explore more hidden places like this, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment. What's the strangest underground space you've ever heard of? Thanks for watching. Stay curious.